I'm Sebastian.
I'm Emerson, and we're from Palais Royale. You're watching Chaoszine.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Chaoszine. Today we're having Palaye Royale in here. Emerson and Sebastian, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
This is your first time ever in Finland. Welcome to Finland, first of all.
Thank you very much.
2 sold-out nights here in legendary Tavastia this weekend. Does this implicate that you might return to Finland one day with maybe a bigger show?
Absolutely. No, the Finland shows were one of the fastest selling shows on the tour. So of course we'll be. It seems to be that people in Finland want us to be here.
It's a very beautiful country and very beautiful city, Helsinki.
Are you having any time to see Finland now that you're here?
Actually,
we're like locals now.
We went
for a swim in the ocean.
Yeah, we went ice bath today and sauna.
Oh, really?
We did 3 jumps in the ice and 3 saunas, and then went swimming, and then went to bed.
That's great.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's talk about your shows since you're doing 2 here in Finland. Your live performance is quite something.
Thank you.
What's best thing about doing live gigs?
I think this is the best representation as a band. I think on the records you get the grand introduction to Palais, but when you watch the show, it's more like chaotic. It's more lively. It's more personable. Remington's jumping off of something. I don't know. I just feel like when you see the show, it elevates our records so much more. So I think that's why we have a really good touring career, because people continue to come back and travel and watch the band. So.
Do you have any before show rituals or habits? What do you do?
I meditate a little bit, and then we all give a hug before the show.
We do like a seance and like a ritual and that.
What do?
You just chill. Yeah, I guess it depends. I try to go see like architecture and buildings and stuff. If not, I usually am waking up before a show.
Oh, really? So there's not so much time.
My sleep schedule is fucked. I usually don't go to sleep till 10 a.m., give or take.
Okay. You do all kinds of crowd surfing and stuff. Anyone who's seen your social media and concerts knows that. There must be some times that you get injured or something because you do climbing and crowd surfing and everything. Do you have any funny or crazy stories or memories about those?
I jumped off of the balcony in New York City and fractured my heel on stage. But that was my own doing. Don't jump in heels from 10 feet above.
On this tour, I've been joining the mosh pit, which has been fun. I really enjoyed that.
You can do that tonight?
Maybe. I don't know. Our guitar player who's not here, Andrew, we have this raft that he goes on. Well, one of us goes on, and he went on it for the first time, and he violently fell off onto his head onto the floor.
Yeah, it's not good. So hopefully he's right.
But that doesn't stop you. You keep doing that
not.
because it's
if you're scared
amazing.
of life, then you're gonna never do anything. So.
It's like being scared of the cold. If you're able to overcome it, you can overcome anything throughout your day.
Yeah. You seem to enjoy doing live quite a lot, but what's the meaning, live music and performing to you as being an artist?
I think the connection of a room full of people that are showing up for different reasons, but at the core it's all the same reason. We're all searching for a bit of escapism and to pause life for just a moment. And everyone in that room is connected by the soul, by frequencies in music and emotions. I don't know, I think live shows and music and art and poetry have the ability to transcend the soul into divinity for just a moment.
Do you have anything to say?
I can't top that.
Yeah. How about yourself? Do you go to concerts or festivals? Got any time for that?
When we play festivals, I take it a point to. Luckily, we're playing festivals I like a lot of the bands we're playing with now. So, we were at Lowlands and had a great time. I watched Jungle. watch Arlo Parks. I don't know. Watch Arctic Monkeys. So
We're playing Download later. Is that announced? I don't know.
yeah.
Great. Slipknot is playing the same day we are.
Download playing Slipknot? Download playing Slipknot. Slipknot playing.
I think so, yeah.
Or are they playing that other one? I don't know. There's some festival playing in June that Slipknot's playing, but Corey was a huge, like, I don't know, just like soundboard for us as a band early on in our career. You know, when we were just opening up for him with Stone Sour, he was just kind of like there for words of wisdom and from trials and tribulations.
We've had a lot of incredible legends that we've always looked up to be very supportive of us throughout our career. So we're very grateful for that, and we try our best to do that for the new generation and the new wave of artists and stuff. And I think it's so important to pass on the baton of inspiration to each generation.
How do you do that? You know, take it to the next generations.
I think it starts with little things, like even the other night, wherever we were, there's this like Lithuania, yeah. There's this sweet little boy with his mom and dad up in the balcony, and you know, just I threw him my drumsticks and stuff, and just giving that moment, because like, you know, that was for us. When we were young, we went to a Hanson concert. Our mom took us, and that changed the course of our lives. Like, we met the lead singer later on in our careers, like probably like 2 years ago or something. And we told him about this experience that literally shaped and crafted and changed the course of our lives. And he was like, respectfully, I don't remember that. But it is one of those things when you meet so many people. I think it's very important to be kind to kind people. And you never know what your words can impact on them. And I find with most human beings, the deepest, most scary scars are the ones that you can't see. So if you just extend a moment of gratitude and love and appreciation, you can change the world.
Definitely. Such beautiful words. Your brothers and your bandmates, you do long tours and spend a lot of time together. I saw some interview where you were talking about punching each other's face at some point, but generally, what is your group dynamics? How do you
I think the group dynamics have definitely become better over the past since we started the Fever Dream era. We've become really good friends once again. But it's, you know, it's inevitable. You leave for tour. 2015, we were on the road. We were sleeping in our mom's car. We weren't getting hotel rooms.
Like 18,
We were just really becoming of age and becoming the band we are today, and playing to one person in the room, playing to 5 people in the room. And we just, once we got to the point that we were headlining our own shows, it was like such a burnout that we just played like 600-700 shows before that. So when we actually got the reward of playing to people that cared about us, it was kind of like we were already so like annoyed of one another, so we couldn't really appreciate the moments. But now we're in a lot better of a place, and this has been the best tour we've had yet. We've just really truly enjoyed our time with one another, our time with our crew, time with the fans. It's even like times with the promoters and stuff. It's just been an incredible moments in our lives that we will remember forever. And you know, there might be a moment we all get bickering again, but I think we're in a stronger place now, which is really, really good. So
yeah, it must be some kind of constant growing.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to work out on the kinks of relationships of everything, and you know what. I know what will tick Emerson. Emerson knows what will tick me, but you just don't use that as a tool anymore. You just kind of avoid that because you know the sensitivity of one another. Or when they're on their limits, you want to push it to it. You're not going to, because you have the respect for them still, you know?
That's life in general. You have to be open and willing to learning every day. You know, I'm 26, and I feel like I'm learning something new every day. But you have to be open to that accessibility of identifying that you don't know everything in life, you know? So.
Yeah, definitely. About making music, how easy it is for you to create new stuff? Is it like you have to lock up in some studio or something, or is it something that just flows in your mind like constantly and then you just go somewhere?
I think the beauty of being an artist is you always are being inspired by your daily surroundings, and luckily for us with music, knock on wood, it hasn't been an issue creating. I think what's the issue is creating is what we want to do the next step. Because it's like we can be a rock band, we could be a pop band, we could be an alternative band, we could be a heavy rock band, we can infuse some blues in there. It's just where we want to take it as the three of us, and that's, I think, the most difficult part. Creating isn't the difficult part. It's creating something that we want to do for the next couple of years and then move on to the next era. So
I find most times people look at creativity and expression as like a lemon with only so much juice in it, which I think that's a wrong way to look at it. If you're deep into like consciousness and the behavior of a soul and how all of our souls interact with the world and the energetic pulse of what's going on, if you're able to tap in to this flow state, there's like a great quote. It's like, does art do you or do you do art? And I'm a big believer in it's like frequencies, and it's like a radio signal almost, where if you're able to tap into this essence, this energy, it's infinite, and you can endlessly, your whole entire life, create utter beauty. You just have to like be able to silence what's happening in the world and on social media, and just tap into like the deepest core and principles of your soul, and you can find this like infinite energy of creation.
Wow. Are you now just enjoying the aftermath of releasing Fever Dream, or are you already working on some new stuff or planning on starting to work on it?
I think that's the thing. It's like when the moment Fever Dream dropped and it, does its thing, the only thing that's kind of rewarding in the situation of this record has been seeing the results of coming to the shows, and Remington literally does this and everyone sings every word. That's it. We created the music for ourselves, to our fans. The fans enjoyed it. We did our job. How long will the Fever Dream era go on? Not sure, but the reality is we always are creating. Remington was done with 8 new songs before Fever Dream even came out. So that's the beauty. I think it has to be this thing of like, there shouldn't be a time limit on things coming out. If you create something, it should be able to come out as soon as you want, So I think that's the only issue we've been running into. We want things just to be a little bit more direct to in the moment, because it's like we were actually having this conversation about social media. When we post a lot on social media because that moment just happened. We just played in Latvia and we had a great moment. We just played in Vienna, had a great moment. You want to post those moments to like almost social media is a capture of what you are. You can look at your life and be scrolling and be like, wow, we did that. The fans can see it. They can see your growth. This kind of like, oh, I'm going to be protective of something and hold on to it. It loses its like in the moment thing. So
when, I don't know if we'll ever do this, but I'm sure when you see artists delete everything, to me that's like sad, because you're getting rid of your like identity. Where I think it's a really magical, exciting thing to see the thought process of a human being develop and grow over time.
You can scroll back on our page. That's the beauty, the only thing you had in like this 60s, 70s, 80s, and even 90s was a record, the press photo. That was your only thing to identify. Maybe if they were big enough to get on a talk show or radio, they would be able to see filmed, or if you were the heights of Bowie, you were able to be filmed on an interview. But most of the time it was never that way. But now there's so much, you as an artist, you have so much control to like put out whatever you want. Sometimes I really think that there's nothing as too much now, because people will look at it for 5 seconds, they're done, they move on. They listen to the music, it might live with them for a couple years or their whole lifetime, but it's usually an urgency.
We're a data-consuming generation.
How much of all of this you do by yourself? You're very active in social media, so you do all
100%.
Even beyond that, from the clothing to the makeup to the merchandise to the graphic novels, the artwork, everything. And I think it's such a terrible thing to not do everything as an artist. We have many peers that, they have their teams of people that are like, they do this, they do this, they do this, they do this. Where it's like, when things come from you, it's like direct from the source. And I believe to be an artist, you kind of have to wear all sorts of hats. you know. And that's the fun in it. It's like, why wouldn't you want to do that? It's what a gift it is to be able to have a life where you just get to create your world every day, and people reciprocate it enough and care enough about it to be involved in it. You know, we're obsessed with it.
Yeah. So the person behind your social media is you.
It's me.
There is no
Nice.
social media person.
I find it. Why would I let someone speak for me? You know what I mean? It's it's if you're doing all this work to make music or art or films or whatever, and you have someone managing, and people are like, I don't have time for that. I understand you don't have time for that, but the thing is, if you want to portray what you want to say, then otherwise it's just robotic and it's not you and it's not truthful.
But
so
I do feel very fortunate that there is 3 of us, because
I couldn't imagine as a solo artist.
we're so obsessed with different ranges of the spectrum, and that was something throughout the years that we've celebrated about each other, as opposed to picking apart what we're not strong in. We celebrate what our like strong suits are, and I think that's why we've like persistent, and like persistence is key. You can do anything in life as long as you live and bleed for it and die for it. You know, persistence is key in anything.
Yeah, you have your own parts in doing whatever because, for example, social media takes time and it's such work.
Yeah, it is. But
So comparing to the times that you only had, record and photo of band, so it's so different.
if he was just touring, making records, and making a music video here and there, it would be so, because you don't have to not necessarily do anything. You get to only focus on one thing, which is beautiful. Like I honestly think there was a moment of suffering of music being great because of that thing that people like had too much of attention spans to have to do to so many things. But now you have all these new generations of kids coming in that are literally producing on their phones and putting out great things. Like the power is back into the artist's hands. You don't need to go work with a producer if you don't need to. That's
part of the beauty, though, and life in general. There's always new facets of the game that are being developed and added. So it's like you have to be like a pioneer of this like digital renaissance in a way, and like do absolutely everything. Keep yourself like entertained by being educated. I think one of the saddest things in the world is not wanting to learn.
Or saying I'm doing it my way. It's like, well, unfortunately, you got to learn to adapt to continue. And it's a beautiful thing. Like you look at Bowie, like he did 15 records in 10 years, and from like the 70s to 80s, and then he still was making records till like the day he died. Like
also in the creative field, fortunately, yes, there's a road that has been traveled by many, but like Ralph Waldo Emerson said, the less traveled road, or the road that you create, is the most beautiful. So everything is up to interpretation. So you can do this life however you see fit, and there's no right way. There's always a way to do it your own way. You can follow the path of many, and that is the most like commercially accepted route, but you can get there any which way you'd like. I find most times we take the long way, but that is the most beautiful and scenic route.
Yeah, you definitely know what you're doing and how you want to do it, and you're eager to learn new.
Yeah.
So where is Palais Royale going to? Are you planning on some new kind of project and new kind of ways to do things?
Absolutely. I think that the old ways of the past 50 years of touring or 60 years of touring now has been exactly the same. There needs to be things that change and switch up to make it that it's more exciting, not for us as artists, but for the fans. Waiting up outside in the cold to get inside to watch, 2 opening bands watch us play and they get the fucking kicked out to go through it. Like, it's that every night,
Ultimately, in the somewhat near future, we kind of want to create like an immersive event experience festival type thing, where it was like, the moment you step into Obsidian, our world, it's like you're fully immersed and you feel like suspended in time and space. And then other projects like our graphic novels and our makeup and our clothing lines and boutique hotels and I don't know. I think,
bars. Yeah, there's so much creation.
I've always just wanted to like franchise this band like a like Harry Potter or something like that.
You look outside and you see the fans, and there's so much similarities in the way we all dress, but there's so much individuality, and I think that's what's great with the community is if you can all have that, you can all like bond together, and we can all like I go out and meet the fans after all the shows on these past couple runs because we haven't been able to like be to these countries and say hi, and just hearing everyone's stories and seeing how like-minded we all are but how different we are. It's such a beautiful thing, and it's like to continue to have that, to have a space for everyone to come to and feel like even more themselves and let loose, I think is what ultimately would make us happier as band. Touring's always going to be there. Doing it the old way always is going to be there. So if we do it and fail, come back and do our thing. But the thing is, we're not going to fail because we're persistent in what we want in our life. When we started as a band, everyone was like, rock and roll's dead, this isn't going to work, you're not going to be able to do it. I'm like, we're just going to keep doing us. And we're in Helsinki playing 2 sold-out shows for the first time we've ever been here. It's like, it's beautiful.
It's the classic thing where it's, if you don't see what you want to see in the world, become it, create it, and do it. And we just feel very grateful that the Royal Council is so receptive to the ideas and imagination that we have, and they inspire us every day.
Yeah, so I was so gonna ask you about your hopes and dreams and goals for the future, but that really sounds like that is.
Yeah. We play chess for fun, so imagine like an existential chess game. We're kind of playing that.
Well, can you tell us about your next moves, your next big moves? What's going to happen after this tour, and what are you going to work on next?
We're going to make the record. Emerson's moving to the UK, finish up the record. There's a lot. Emerson's finishing up the graphic novel. We're new makeup line, all this stuff. There's just so much that comes down the facet line with what Palaye is. I think it's also us then figuring out how we operate us as a Palais Royale without people that question what you do. Like we internally, if you don't want to be listening to who I am as a person, like to further what our visions are, we need to clean that up a little bit.
But yeah, we have like 3 months off. I was trying to move somewhere in Europe, but the visa rules and all that stuff kind of got in the way. So I'm moving to like near Cliffs of Dover, pretty much in the UK. Because before this tour, I pretty much packed up my house and my life, and now I'm in a handful of things, bags and stuff. But yeah, and then we go and we do festivals in June.
Yeah, we do festivals in June.
And then we're doing a couple headliners, and then
Asia, Japan.
We have some like special shows and tours planned that haven't been quite announced yet, but. Yeah, I think it's just an art project, and we're just adding to it every day.
And put touch all the corners of the whole entire world, which is just like the world's such a beautiful big place, and it's when
experiencing cultures is such a magical thing. I think to anyone, we have such a gift because we're able to go to so many places so quickly. It's kind of ridiculous.
25 countries in the past 2 months.
But travel is like the spice of life, when you put yourself out into the world, and also you have a positive attitude. I think for a long time when I was touring, I hated myself and the world, so wherever I went, I hated. But it was kind of only recently that I started finding beauty within myself again, and I found absolute beauty in the world. And so what you put out and what you like reflect is what you'll get back. So I think it's important to just always search for the good, because there's a lot of bad in this world.
That sounds amazing, and I'm a little bit of jealous too. But I really thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
And I wish you amazing 2 days here in Helsinki.
Thank you.
Are you watching the show tonight?
Of course I am.
Fantastic.
Yes.
I'll see you in the pit.
I'll see you there.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.